I want to talk to you about Thongor. I just got finished with Thongor and the Dragon City, written by Mr. Lin Carter. I had a pretty good time with it. Let me just put that out there first. It's, very clearly Lin Carter's Conan. I mean, they look sort of similar. They've got very similar vibes. Barbarian from the north, smart and strong, and a great warrior. There's a lot to like about this book. One thing that I found interesting was that Lin Carter wrote the Thongor novels before he had a chance to write Conan. Of course, he knew about Conan. I thought that he had written Conan first and then went on to write his own character, and it seems like that's reversed. The story feels a lot like a role-playing session, like Dungeons & Dragons. Go with the flow, like you never really know where the story is going to go next. It's a short book, 143 pages, and that's with the glossary in the back. You need this appendix. There are a ton of names. Lin Carter went buck wild, naming places and different titles. So in the back, we have a full glossary of all this stuff, which I didn't realize was there until I got to the end of the book. So I read the whole book without the benefit of that appendix. Another thing I realized is that Thongor and the Dragon City is the second book in the series. I have the other Thongor books, got them at a book sale. I somehow missed out on the first one, so I ordered that one. So that's coming next. And like the Conan books, it really doesn't matter. You can kind of read them out of order from what it seems. So I didn't really feel like I was missing much. The story drops you into the middle of the plot, which in this case is kind of cool because the opening scene is aboard an airship. The airship goes down because of this beast that comes out of the water. And from there, Conan and his friend and his princess girlfriend go off on the adventure, and there's a lot of cool set pieces, I would say, in the story. Like I said, it really feels like a gaming session. Probably my favorite was when Thongor was captured and put into this dungeon where he's about to be tortured until he is rescued. You just get the sense that there's, unknown monstrosities in this catacombs. And there are, spoiler, this kaiju-sized worm comes up out of the ground and starts following them down this corridor. And in one of the coolest moments of the story, I thought, was this worm backed them up against a pit. And they had the choice to either battle this thing, which, they knew they would lose, or dive into the dark pit with no idea how far down it was or what was at the bottom, just prepared to die. They thought that would be a better way to die than to go out by the worm, so they'd jump. I thought that was bold, and of course they're fine. It's Thongor. There's more books. It's called the Dragon City. There's really not much in the way of dragons, and in fact, I'll show you, we've got a T-Rex on the front of the book. There are no T-Rexes in this book. You can kind of get a look at the airship there, which is neat. Okay, so the back of this, bear with me while I read this short description here. The vampire king of the lost city. Zothan had ruled in Ulm for 1,000 years, master of strange powers, yet slave to his craving for human blood. The lost city lived only to serve and feed Zothan. That's all true. Zothan is a character in the book. He is an old vampire, and it's kind of neat because he's this big Baron Harkonnen kind of vampire who just sits in his throne room. And he's also a scientist. I won't give this away, but the way he captures and brings Thongor, apologies, is he uses science. And so I thought the addition of a scientist vampire in the swords and sorcery setting was really interesting. However, Zothan and the whole Vampire King bit really is not that much of the book. The title is a little bit misleading, and the whole description about the Vampire King is a little misleading. The plot is mostly about these different factions that are about to go to war, and the princess's kingdom, and how she and Thongor escaped, what the airship means for the military of those kingdoms, and how that battle all sort of shapes up. the vampire and his science, they do factor into the plot and how it's resolved, but to focus so much on it, it's a little unusual. Good nonetheless. I mean, I think people who are into this kind of book kind of know what they're getting, so that's where I think Thongor fits right in. For me, I had as much fun reading this as I do the Conan stuff. The Robert E. Howard vibe is there. If you enjoy Conan and you're gonna like the Thongor books. One thing I wish I had when reading this was a map, because like I said, there's a lot of names. There is a lot of different geography referenced. You're dealing with warring kingdoms. I don't know if there ever was a map designed for this world, but that would have been cool to see. Overall, though, I had a great time with it. I'm looking forward to the first book arriving. It is Thongor and the Wizard of Lemuria. I'll jump right into that as soon as I can. This is not, the most well-constructed plot, that I've ever seen in a book, but it's more like a ride. So if you enjoy the swords and sorcery genre, you're probably going to enjoy Thongor. Hey there, I'm just out in my yard, so we have something different to cut to. I would have liked to have seen Thongor mix it up a little bit more, for a barbarian character. He doesn't do a ton of barbarian things. He doesn't have many sword fights, and most of the central conflicts are taken care of by other characters or by Thongor in a way that is not really playing to his barbarian character. So I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of the traditional barbarian strength. And man, it is hot out here. Let's get back inside to the other me and wrap this up. If I had to rate it, let's have a rating system based off of one of the words in the back. Dautarkan? No. Croter? Zulfar, the vicious Lemurian boar. I would give Thongor and the Dragon City 7 out of 10. Shit, I forgot it. Lemurian boars. Check it out, I'm still editing the episode. Shot the whole thing right back here. I didn't really have a very well thought out ending for this, and I forgot to tell you guys to like and subscribe and comment. So if you like these sword and sorcery reviews that I'm doing, I have 150 more books on my shelf probably that I could talk about. So let me know if you like this stuff, and I'd be happy to keep doing it. Now back to the other thing, and watch me pose for a thumbnail. That ought to do.